in the ministry of Jesus, he did a lot of miracles, and he never took credit for them. At best, he was telling people not to tell anyone about it. You see that all the time.
Yeah.
And he was telling his apostles, if you have faith, you could do more things in my name than this. Greater things than what I am doing. See, that's what he told his apostles. So even his miracles and all of that, he was not standing out as an exception. Nothing Jesus did, was an exception to a normal human being. You see, which directly translates, we can imitate Jesus. And imitating Jesus is not a blasphemy, it's not a pride. All of us are supposed to imitate Jesus. Okay? All of us are supposed to do miracles. All of us are supposed to pray like him. All of us are supposed to isolate ourselves, go on our own, pray. And all of us are supposed to get involved in ministerial activities as he did. See, all of us are supposed to save people as he did. And these things are not exceptions. Every Christian should do that. Now, the cardinal law of Jesus, the rule, is love. See, love manifests in a variety of ways. See, love as a phenomenon, it's not something, that is defined and static and all of that. See, one of the majestic and most beautiful thing about love, it always strives to make the beloved equal to the lover. And when that happens, it's a remarkable thing. So building each other up is a Christian obligation. Okay? So when you think in that terms, now building each other up, it requires a lot of other things to take place. It requires knowledge. We need to know more about our beloved. Okay? It requires an incredible freedom so we can express love freely. It requires a respect for the freedom in others, like God respects our free will, meaning God respects our freedom. So just imagine how free God is. Okay? Because the more we respect the other person's freedom, freer we become. Okay? So it involves a lot. Charity in terms of taking care of the sick, what Mother Teresa did, all of that. Yeah, that is also charity. But it is also a charity when we save a kid from getting into trouble. So charity cannot be defined. Charity is actually a manifestation of love. You see, what Mother Teresa did is, of course, it's enormous, but what we're supposed to learn from what Mother Teresa did, something that is incredible. I read about that again and again in a lot of her interviews and, even her sayings, See, she comes out and says very clearly, look, it is not Sister Teresa who is doing all of these. If it was entirely up to me, I wouldn't touch a leper, even if you give me £1,000. Okay, pounds, by the way, is a British currency. Okay, and when a UK journalist went and asked Mother Teresa, this is what she said: if it was entirely up to Sister Teresa, I would not touch a leper even if you give me £1,000. But you see, it is a charity of Jesus that's operating from within me. That cannot be contained. See, every emotions we have, whether it's compassion, whether it is a manifestation of love, manifestation of sadness, manifestation of a lot of different emotions we have. All of these, we feel sad because of, something, because of whoever we feel sad about, it's because there is love involved in it. If we are indifferent, we won't feel sad. See what I mean? When we feel sad about someone, there is love involved in it. If we are indifferent, we will not feel sad. It is the same thing. No matter what kind of emotions it is a manifestation of that love. Okay? Even when we feel compassion, even when we feel merciful, even when we become, defenders of a certain cause. It doesn't matter what it is. But understand one thing, all of these are manifestations of love. See, that is the reason why Jesus made it a commandment. And the commandment begins with loving ourselves and then moves on to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Then he tells, love God with all your might, all your resolve. See, we cannot love God unless we begin it with loving ourselves and loving our neighbor. See, loving ourselves, that is, it literally means we understand the love of Christ within us. It is not just complimenting us, yeah, Anthony, I love you. That's not what it is. We go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper to understand the love of Christ within me. When I realize the love of Christ within me, then I'm loving myself. When I'm loving myself, I know, glory up, and she has Jesus within herself also. And I can fall in love with her. Because when I'm doing that, it is not what, God represents himself as. It's God himself. See, when I go out and touch people, when I go out and be charitable to people, you're not being charitable to a brethren. That's what it appears to be. But the love of God within you is so overwhelming. You just cannot contain it. The loving, it really is an expression of the purest form of love. Want to define it as charity? Go ahead. It can be anything. It can be anything. It can be enjoying their freedom. It can be just sitting there and watching them and, see how marvelous God is. Obviously, the God is in them. Isn't it? So it really does not have to be, that you need to, do something about it. No. Even observing the love of God in another person, that itself is loving. Does it make sense? Go to the beach, look at the people and see how they are enjoying themselves, how they are relaxing themselves, and just see the manifestation of Christ in all of them. And enjoy loving it. That is also an observation. Observing Christ in others is also an expression of love. So it really doesn't matter how you feel. Let good Lord inside you feel the way you feel, and you just become an instrument in manifesting that. Does it answer the question?
Yes.
I'm sorry, because see, when somebody asks me a question, I don't give them direct answers. I always provoke them to think a little differently. What I mean? That's me. Sorry. So I don't know if I gave you a structured answer for the question, but I'm just provoking you to think a little differently.